Well, speaking of learning stuff, you have shared some stuff with me that you learned, and that's how to utilize credit to not only establish some properties, but also maybe even take some trips.
Correct.
Credit card reward points.
Yes.
Things like that. You have got a good firm understanding on that and how it works, and been able to put it to work. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Talk about it.
I was always decent with credit cards. I really got into credit cards in like 2017. Finance manager was like, just kind of briefly touched on it. And I said, okay, so I got my first one in 17. And then it was kind of a snowball after that. But then I started seeing cashback rewards and all that. So I started studying it a little bit more. But then, and I got to give this guy a shout out, Ryan Frakes. We know him.
Sure.
I learned a lot from him on the credit card points for sure. And basically, the money that you're going to spend anyway, period, on your day-to-day bills, eating, everything like that, you're going to get a percentage back for that with these cards. So if you spend a certain amount in a certain amount of time, you're going to get a sign-up bonus, which might be 80,000 to 100,000 points. Now, you can either press a button on your phone and get $800 or $1,000 back, or apply it to travel partners that it's going to be worth 30 to 50% more. So I like to use this example, for instance. Okay, we went to Key West, and the room was $1,000 a night through a travel partner. $1,000 a night out of pocket. We stayed there for 5 nights, so it would have been $5,000, not even including the taxes, or 125,000 points tax-free that was already accumulated. So I mean, at that point, we had 350,000 points. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that. And that's just one example. The second example was a different company or card that, okay, for instance, the plane tickets were $570 round trip ticket. Instead, I used 57,000 points. And as mentioned, all of those points are accumulated from everyday spending that you're going to spend anyway. So when you give somebody a debit card, that transaction's done. Your money's just gone.
Yeah.
Right directly out of your bank. So I leverage credit cards as a middleman. I know that my card's going to close out the 15th of the month. So I'm going to live my whole life, my whole month on one credit card, whether it's bills, anything like that. And then at the end of the month, I'm just going to pay that off. And once I'm paying that off, then I'm going to get that percentage or points per se. So, I mean, at this time, we average about 10 to 15,000 points per month. But the reason we do that too is because I do it in a trifecta. And what I mean by that is, okay, I'll get a card, add my wife as an authorized user, then my son as an authorized user. So it's only making them stronger. Then I'm going to get my wife a card, same sign-up bonus. She's going to add me as an authorized user and my son.
The same
so then I use my son, get the same exact card, get the same exact sign-up bonus, add each other as authorized users. So that is just adding, on paper, complete, a massive amount of money per se that's available to me. But the number one point, though, that I always make I've taught this several years, several people, even at my job and everything, friends. That's not your money. That's what they want you to think, the credit cards. That's not your money. If you don't pay that, I'm using it as a middleman. I'm a deadbeat customer to the credit card companies because they don't get a dime of interest from me.
Yeah.
Period. Now, if you roll that over, you're going to be paying 23% interest.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, I'm just leveraging all those cards and at the same time gaining all your credit. And then the way I do it I call it the trifecta. It's, gaining my wife and my son all these points. And then I put them all in one pool.
And it's helping your son establish credit at a young
Correct.
age.
Yep, he has excellent credit now.
So here, like you kind of gave a PSA or preface, right?
Yeah.
Because I was a longtime banker. My parents were bankers. And I hear that. And I also am aware, I help many people with debt consolidation,
right?
Debt rehabilitation. And whoever hears that, I highly recommend. But it takes a lot of discipline.
It does.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of tracking.
Correct.
Make sure you don't go spend more on that credit card than you really have in your bank account, because when it comes time to pay that bill, if you don't pay that bill in full, you'll have a finance charge. You're now paying interest, right? I'm trying to just dummy this down for anyone out there that may not know. But the credit card is a very amazing tool.
It is.
To do many things. Get something you aren't able to afford right now. or accumulate points and be able to take a trip.
Build your credit.
But
quick.
you better be careful with. There's a reason, back when I started going to college, these credit card companies, they were set up on campus because they got
Discover College.
You have all these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. They have no job, and you're giving them a credit limit of $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah, that's gone.
They're going and getting shoes right away.
And they're paying $25 a month
right.
for 8 years.
Yeah,
And
there's a reason that got banned, and they're not able to do it anymore. Right? They were targeting some people, that don't even have the ability to repay.
Yeah.
They don't have a job. So who's that fall on? Mom and dad, hey, I maxed this card out. I got a payment due. I got nothing.
Yep.
So be very cautious when utilizing debt.
Right.
But don't be scared of debt. Right? I mean,
you can have a healthy debt.
Oh yeah.
There's
good debt and bad
debt
debt for sure.
Theoretically, you're supposed to have some debt. One thing I remember, I was doing mortgage loans, and I had a buddy come to me who had never had a loan. He saved up. He had over $50,000 saved up. Like, dude, kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
And he wanted to buy an $80,000 house. Like, I don't see the problem here. You got 50, you're only needing to borrow 30. The bank will be in a good position. Run his credit. 0 score.
Ghost.
0 score is about as bad as a bad score.
Because you never used that.
Yeah.
You've
never established it.
Yeah.
But from a lender standpoint, the bad score, I know what you're going to probably do. Look at your history. Odds are we're going to be in a bad position just like you've left every other person. No score, we have no idea. So unfortunately, this guy was declined. I told him, I said, hey, look, go to Walmart or any business, get a credit card. They'll give you one. It might not be a big amount.
$500.
Pump your gas, go get some groceries, pay it off.
That's the best
Pump
way
some
to
gas,
start.
get some groceries, start it off. Pay it off. And then within 6 months, he come right back. He said, okay, he's got a credit score in the high 600s that quick, and was able to get him, the loan. But so like I said, you do have to. It's kind of messed up system, if you will. But I'm like, gosh, I felt like this guy did it so right. He saved all of his money. Yeah. He's ready to. I just need to borrow a little bit type, and declined. And I'm like, dang.
And we call that in the car business, we call that a ghost. Like, they don't exist on paper with, you don't have bad credit or good credit. You've just never used it. And it's getting harder and harder to establish that. Because I remember my son was 18 before I was well informed on all this credit and everything. I took him to a local bank to try to get him a card. And he had 2 years on the job. I was trying to get him a $1,000 credit card. Well, they denied him. So that kind of lit a fire, too, to where I started studying. And, now this is a tip that I would give to people. If you have a child that's 17, 18 years old and you have a credit card, maybe a $10,000 limit, $5,000 limit, $2,000 limit, just add them as an authorized user. Because when you add them as an authorized user, they're basically piggybacking off of your credit.
So let me ask you something. When you say add them as authorized user, do they also get the sign-in bonus if that happens, or no, right?
No
Okay.
sign-on bonus.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I do use a credit card. It's a big airline credit card. I go to Brazil often, so I need the points, and it makes sense because everything I spend, all my mortgage, all my power bill, everything I pay with my credit card.
Cycle it through.
Yeah, so I'm getting those points per month, but of course I would like to sign other people and for me to get the sign-on bonus. So, but if it's same family, would that work? Because you mentioned your wife and your son. How would that work if your wife tries to
Well, see how I got the sign-up bonus. I think what you're asking is, can they get the sign-up bonus?
Yes. How can
not as an authorized user?
No, he turned around and had her get her own card.
Yes, and apply for a new one.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
usually that works, even if she used the same.
But let's say
same income as you, or say.
Let's say that she had. Okay, let's say that you have a family member that doesn't have that great of credit.
Yeah.
So you add them as an authorized user, and you wait a month or two, and now they're going to be able to get that card because their credit is boosted up. So if you have them, I mean, you can share points. So let's just say you use your cousin or something, and he hits that sign-up bonus, and you say, hey, I'm going to help you out with this credit card. I'm going to boost your credit. I'm going to do all this. But once you hit that sign-up bonus, I'm going to need you to give me those points back. That's a loophole you could use.
Okay.
But to answer your question, no, you can't get the same sign-up bonus.
So as a user, your son's credit goes up? Credit
Yes.
score? Oh. Okay.
So it's like look at it as like, let's say that I have a $10,000 credit card, and my wife gets the same card, my son gets the same card. Now on paper, I have $30,000 available to me. You know, just because I'm an authorized user. You know, there's a lot of people out there that do side hustles on that, where they'll charge somebody $600 a month for 6 months, and they're going to keep them on that. So their credit's boosted up. Now, whatever this person over here decides to do, since their credit is boosted up, they can go apply for cards, get all their own stuff, and then he can remove it. Because the authorized user technically never gets the card. So, I mean, I've done it before and just shredded the card because nobody's ever going to use it. It just exists on paper, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I've seen, you had mentioned, you know, trying to get, if you have a child, young teen, young adult, and try to help them get credit. I have seen people go the other way where the kid is 18 now and he's got bad credit because mom and dad
got
put
a
him on
cable
the
bill in
card.
his name, power bill in his name.
You've seen
I've
enough
seen
of
it.
that.
Oh,
and now
yeah.
this kid comes to borrow money. And I'm like, you have a bad credit. He's, I've never had credit. Well, your mom and dad said you did.
Well, you got a phone bill and a cable bill in your name, too.
That's America, Victor. That's
That is
real,
America.
though. That's happened.
That's true.
People do it.
That's crazy.
Because they can't get it in their own name. So they'll go take it out in little Johnny's name. And Johnny has no clue. He's 12 years old and got bad credit.
Yep.
People do it.
And you get the same aspect, too, where, you know, there might be one breadwinner in the family and everybody else is piggybacking off of them, having them get them loans, things like that. And, you know, I've seen that, too. I've seen it all, especially in the car business. You don't know what you're going to see. I mean, you might have a person walk in that looks like they just got done mowing the yard. And, I mean, long beard, scraggly, and that's why you can never prejudge people in this business. You know, I'll speak to anybody. Regardless if I'm on the lot or anybody, I'll talk to you. I'm a people person. But, you know, that person might walk in and be a farmer with going to write you a check because he wants to his tax guy told him to go buy a $50,000 truck. So he might walk in and, you know. I had a person do that. My first year of my career, this person walked up to me and he had his family with him and everything. And, you know, hey, can I help you? And he said, you know, I want to tell you something. I'm not ready to buy right now, but you're the first guy that came out here and talked to me. And it might have been because nobody's seen him or something. But he's like, I'll be back in a month. I'm waiting on this check after I sell my house, and I'm going to buy that truck over there. And lo and behold, 1 month later, came in, asked for me, and I've been selling him cars since. Lives out of town, still comes in, you know, calls me every now and then, or I'll call him, and you know, it worked out.
Do you usually apply for several different credit cards, or
yes?
And what type of credit cards points do you use? Like, do you usually only the hotels and airplane tickets?
My favorite credit card company is Chase. I always say people
I use Chase.
Look at the credit card companies like the mafia. Every different family offers different features. So my favorite is Chase because we stay at Hyatt Hotels, which is a transfer partner. So that's definitely my favorite. I use them consistently. Second one is Capital One Venture. I like that one because you're going to get 2% back on every dollar you spend, and it all adds up. They call them miles. It's also a really cool metal card that's extremely heavy. Everyone's always like, "Oh, what kind of card is this?" And that, I call those cards. I use mostly second level tier cards. And what I mean by the second level tier cards is they're usually going to have an annual fee, $95 a year. But I'll happily pay $95 a year to get $5,000 free in travel.
And a lot of times you don't pay that for the first year, only the second year.
Yep.
And then they have the other option, which is the 300, it's $250 a year, something like that. Which I don't think that's that worth it. I mean, as of right now for me.
Sure.
But one day, maybe. Yeah.
Yep. Amex is another great company. That was one of my first cards. They gave me that card. I had $2,000 on it. And I just kept cycling. And another secret to the credit cards, you always want to ask for a credit card increase. Not through Chase because they'll give you an inquiry. So you don't need to do it through Chase. But like Cap One, Amex, a couple of the other ones, you can ask for an increase because you've already been a customer. And so they might give you $10,000, you know, and you just got $10,000 credit card in your pocket just for asking. You know, so the closed mouths don't get fed, so to speak. But I also like Amex because I just established business credit within the last, I'd say, 60 days. I took a crash course, 45 days. I just went completely in. I kind of neglected my career, you know, just being honest. because I just wanted to establish this. And the difference between your business credit has nothing to do with your personal credit profile. So your business credit profile is based upon your EIN, your employment identification number, and your LLC, which you get all that established. So now I did all of that, which in turn, it gives me the ability to walk on a car lot right now, buy a car without using me as a personal guarantor, and then directly put it into Turo, which turns into income. So I mean, even if it's $700-800 a month, that's still all on the business credit profile and not affecting my debt to income ratio on my personal credit profile.